Hello, my name is Miles Trejo. For my resource use project, I decided to do waste, diet, and water. The reason I chose these three is I've already been pretty conscious about these most of my life. For example, for waste, my family, we've always recycled. I reuse a lot of things. I don't really use disposable things such as water bottles. For diet, this was the one I was actually most interested about. Some days I just eat vegetarian by chance already. I don't like red meat. I haven't had red meat in a long time, and the only meat I ever consume is chicken and occasionally fish. And for water, again, I've always tried to conserve water. I take short showers already, and I've also tried experimenting with taking colder showers for certain periods of time. So all of these I've been interested in before, and I wanted to really crack down on them with this project. The most interesting one for sure was diet. Going vegetarian is something that I've actually thought about quite a bit before. And through this week, I figured it was actually pretty easy, and I might incorporate more vegetarian options into my diet. So for the first change, which is waste, I try not to use anything disposable, so I didn't buy any like snacks or anything, and I used my metal water bottle instead of using disposable water bottles, and tried not to use like paper plates and stuff like that. For the next change, which was probably the biggest one, was diet. Before the week started, I went out and bought some vegetarian protein options, such as like veggie burgers and some tofu and some vegetarian quesadillas. Um, I've always thought about going vegetarian, but the reason I never really pulled the trigger was I work out a lot, and getting protein is easiest through chicken and fish and other sources of meat. And I hadn't really tried vegetarian options, but I definitely did like these, and I think I'll buy more vegetarian options in the future. Not eating meat actually made me feel better throughout the week, and I think this was the biggest change and one that I'll actually continue to keep doing. And then for the last change, which was water, I tried to half my shower times and tried to make it a little bit colder than what I'm used to. Still early in the morning, I couldn't make them too cold, but I didn't make them like blazing hot like I usually did. I also didn't use the dishwasher on the days I wasn't supposed to. And in between, when I was, getting ready for bed or I was cleaning dishes or something, I would try not to leave the sink running in between each thing. So for my quantified savings, which we calculated earlier in the week in lab, I calculated that for water, I use about 48 gallons per week. And with the half showers and the slightly colder showers and lowering the water pressure, which I did in my shower, um, I would use about 21.5 gallons per week instead of 48. So this is around a 26.5 decrease, which is over half of what I was doing before. This is pretty interesting because the changes I made weren't really that big, and it cut down my water usage by over half. Now, by far, the biggest use that I do per week is food. So I calculated before that I probably use around a pound of meat per week. So I calculated that to be 703 gallons per week that I'm wasting. And with the change, it brought it down to around 400. So it's around a 300-gallon decrease just by not eating meat for 3 days. And for waste, this one saved the least, but I calculated that I probably fill up around one garbage bag per week by myself, not including my roommates. So with my changes, it saved around 12.5 gallons. So my projected weekly was around 17.5 instead of 30, which is still a pretty big difference, but not as big as the rest of them. This project was pretty interesting to me personally. Again, like I've said before, the one that really stood out to me was the diet. Going vegetarian is something I've actually thought about a long time, and after doing this project, it turns out it's a lot easier than I thought it would be. It's something I think I'll continue doing in the future, maybe 4 days out of the week, go vegetarian, and we'll see how it goes from there. Maybe eventually go vegetarian 100%. But this project was very eye-opening. It shows you how much waste you really are wasting per day without really knowing. And it's pretty interesting to see how if everyone just changed their lifestyle just a little bit, our environment would be much healthier.